What is up guys, it is Aaron from Rudy Visuals, and in today's video we will be reviewing the Desview Mavo-P5, which is a DSLR monitor. So see you after the intro. Okay, so first of all, a big thank you to Desview for sending this monitor for us to review. As filmmakers, we often use external monitors quite a lot for like non-YouTube videos and like projects that we do outside for work. So when Desview got in touch with us and said, do you want to review this monitor? We were really interested in trying it out. So shout outs to those guys for sending us this monitor to review. So now that I've spent some time with it, here is my review. Alright, so just in case you haven't figured it out already, the Mavo-P5 is an external monitor for your DSLR or mirrorless camera. Essentially, you plug it into the HDMI output and boom, you basically get a big screen for your camera, which makes it a lot easier to see what it is you're shooting. Now, most cameras have a pretty small screen and not every camera has that really convenient flip out screen that like some Canon cameras have. So this is when having an external monitor can be like really helpful. This allows you to frame your shots better, set your exposure more easily, and you can see yourself clearer if you're like vlogging or if you use, for example, a gimbal like me. The screen on your camera can be a little bit obscured, so having an external monitor like this eliminates that problem. This is why I recommend getting a monitor if you are serious about like filmmaking, making videos for YouTube, or just like general content creation. Now, unfortunately, like most things in photography and filmmaking, high-end monitors can be like ridiculously expensive, like very pricey. However, this Desview Mavo-P5 can be yours for just £129 and even as cheap as around £99 if you get it during the Black Friday sale that's coming up. So this thing definitely has price going for it, especially if you don't need some of the high-end features that are found on things like the Atmos Ninja or the small HD monitors. Now, the build quality is what I'd categorize as decent. It is made of plastic. It does feel like some corners were cut to make this thing more affordable, like the buttons feel a bit mushy, and the plastic housing around the screen does feel a little bit cheap, but overall, for the price, it's definitely what I'd say, it's definitely decent. However, the screen itself is actually very nice, and you know, when you're buying a monitor, the screen is kind of like the most important thing. On the top, we have the power button, we have 3 customizable program buttons, and a scroll wheel. On the sides, we have a HDMI input, a 3.5mm jack for audio monitoring, and a couple of 1/4-inch thread holes on the side and bottom for easy attachment to your camera and to add some extra accessories onto the side. On the back is where the battery goes, and the Mavo-P5 can use Sony f550 and f970 batteries. The headphone port is particularly useful for users with cameras that don't have one. For example, the 60 Mark II doesn't have one. So if you have this monitor, you can actually monitor your sound as well, which is really convenient. Well, what about the actual screen itself? Well, thankfully, the Mavo-P5 has a very sharp 5.5-inch 1080p LCD screen. It's got a wide color gamut screen with very natural color reproduction. And to my eye, I found it very color accurate, which made it really useful for things like checking exposure and critical focus. And as a result of that, it helped me to compose better shots. It also has a brightness level of 450 nits, which isn't the brightest screen in the world, but it's certainly usable. It also has a contrast ratio of 1000 to 1, which again isn't amazing, but again at this price I think it's pretty reasonable. With the included sunshade, 450 nits of brightness wasn't too much of an issue in terms of outdoor performance, particularly when it's like quite cloudy. I can imagine if it's like very sunny, at that point it might be a little bit too dim, but I think in most cases it's certainly usable. Now, where a camera monitor might differ from the screen on your camera is that it comes loaded with really useful features to help you get better shots. And the Mavo-P5 is certainly no slouch in the features department. This includes things like focus peaking, false colors, histogram and zebra levels. And in particular, I really liked using the focus peaking, which highlights high contrast edges, which helps you see what parts of your video are sharp. So it helps you to nail down your focus perfectly. The false color and zebra options are also really handy for quickly letting me see which area of my shots were overexposed or underexposed. Now, some modern cameras like the Sony a7 III, which we're filming on now, do have some of these features built into the camera. However, a lot of cheaper cameras don't have access to any of these features. So having this monitor on top of your camera, suddenly having all those tools does make a huge difference. In terms of things that I didn't like, there is no HDMI out, which is kind of a bummer. The layout of the menus as well is functional, but I kind of wish there was like a joypad or something instead of this scroll wheel, which does make navigating through the menus like kind of clumsy. A touchscreen also would have been quite nice, but considering the price, I think it's a fair compromise. But that's pretty much it in terms of things that I think could be improved about it. Again, the build quality, the plastic housing around the screen, I guess could also go into things that I think could be improved. But once again, considering that price, considering that you can get this thing for as cheap as £99 during the Black Friday sale, I think it's quite reasonable. So I guess when you do factor in the price, a lot of those issues become a lot less prominent. So ultimately, would I recommend this monitor? Absolutely. Like I said earlier, if you're new to making videos, or you're someone who wants to buy a monitor to level up your filmmaking game, this will absolutely do a good job for you. The Mavo-P5 is a great option that won't hurt your bank balance, and for like under £100, you really can't argue with that price tag. Now, as I said, I have used a lot of budget monitors within the sort of £100 to £200 price range, and I do think the Mavo-P5 more than holds its own in terms of like the quality of the screen. So yeah, definitely this is getting a recommendation for me considering that price tag. If you're looking for more powerful features like being able to record in different video formats, of course you should be looking at more higher end monitors like the Ninja Atmos or small HD monitors. However, for most people who are just getting into like filmmaking, they're buying their first ever monitor, this is definitely a really good starting point. So if you'd like to pick up one of these for yourself, you can buy it on Amazon. There is a link in the description box below. So that is pretty much gonna do it for this video. Again, a big thank you to Desview for sending us this in to review. We definitely really like the product, so yeah, big shout outs to you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you loved it, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell to see notifications. If you want to see more of our work, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and check out our website www.rudyvisuals.com. Any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Other than that, I guess I'll see you on the next video. All right, bye bye.